Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4 on this Wednesday. Susan is off today. Eric Franke is sitting in. Susan is actually helping her son move.
That's a big day. That's a lot of
his
work.
His first apartment on campus.
That's right. He was in the dorms last year, so she'll have some sore arms tomorrow.
It's not bothering her at all.
Hopefully Matthew, yeah. This is always tough for her.
Yeah, it is.
She needs like a mental day as much as anything.
She's helping.
He's an only child, so
That's
we
right.
understand.
Okay, empty nest.
Yeah. Well, it's looking outside today, a little cloud. Some people were talking about the smoke coming down. Did you see any of that?
Well, yeah, it's been the last couple of days that haze has been from the fires out west.
I didn't even notice. I thought it was just cloudy.
We're going to get to the weather in just a minute, but first, here's what's making news on this Wednesday, and so it begins. The candidates for Wisconsin governors lobbed their first volleys. The general election just 82 days away.
And the countdown begins. The president takes away the security clearance of a former CIA director, accusing him of lying as well as erratic behavior.
And later, there's a downtown music festival that's growing here in Madison and hopes to challenge concerts on the square. That's all coming up, but I'll tell you, the humidity out there.
Yeah, you can feel it. It's out there, and
so are these birds. What are these
seagulls hanging out,
just taking a break. Some park near a lake.
We'll give you all the details here on News.
That might look like Marshall Park.
Yeah, that's quite a collection of seagulls.
A lot of
there.
seagulls. All right.
In other words, more of the same. And Dave Caulfield joining us on the backyard patio. He's got the umbrella out.
We do
dome umbrella out there.
Yes, exactly. You need that because we do have some light showers. And regarding that last video, I hope everyone will get this Vine reference. Look at all those chickens. I know they're not chickens, folks, but we are not talking about chicken. We're talking about some rain showers. On Doppler track, we could see that some showers and thunderstorms have encapsulated southern Wisconsin over the last couple of hours. Mainly the heavy stuff is in the form of some downpours and some thunder and lightning, and that's a little bit closer to southwestern Wisconsin. Already since noon, some spots in Platteville have picked up about 2 to 3 inches locally of rain. Other spots about 1 to 2 inches. It depends on if those downpours hit you or if they miss you. So scattered showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of hours will be in the cards. Platteville on our Queen Bee Radio Skycam. Here's what it looks like right now. We've had some pretty big downpours over the past couple of hours. It was definitely pouring in Platteville at times. Say that 5 times fast. Temperatures are in the 70s and 80s, depending on if you have received some rain or not. We're a little bit cooler, but also a little bit more humid as well. With those dew points in the low to mid 70s, that's a nope from me. Heat index values are a little bit lower, but it still does feel like 90 in La Crosse, where we haven't seen much rain. Live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Your forecast first showing temperatures falling through the 70s with some more chances of some showers and storms, maybe some areas of fog overnight as well. Now let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Todd Drive in the Beltline not looking too bad at the present time. We are starting to notice those brake lights and slowdowns, though, on the Beltline. No major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County, but the yellows and reds are aplenty, and they're getting a little bit more, at least heavy at times. We can see as we head a little bit closer to the interstate and Stoughton Road, still not looking too bad, but a couple more brake lights are starting to pop up. Verona Road to John Nolan, a little bit slow right now eastbound. 8 minutes, average speed of around 35 miles per hour. And some other routes, Middleton to Sauk City, westbound, that's a little bit slow at 19 minutes with an average speed of around 50 miles per hour. When I come back in just a few minutes, we'll talk about some more chances for showers and storms, especially in the afternoon over the next couple of days, in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Jessica Arp just showed me look at all those chickens.
The Vine. Now you know what he's referencing.
Pretty funny. Speaking of which, first and four candidates on both sides of the ticket for governor are making their way around the state campaigning for your vote following last night's primary.
And we already have some new information about the plans they're making and the issues you're going to hear a lot about in the next few months. Political reporter Jessica Arp telling us where this race stands tonight. Jess.
Well, there's a lot to talk about tonight, and not just chickens.
Not just chickens.
Right? Attack ads, new platforms, and a new Democratic ticket getting to know each other. The first steps as we start the general election sprint. Governor Scott Walker, for his part, starting his day in Unalaska and rolling out new tenets of a plan he's calling Keep Wisconsin Working for Generations to Come. It includes new tax credits for grads who stay in Wisconsin and for families who need childcare, as well as a new apprenticeship program for middle schoolers.
We need to continue to grow the workforce. And that's why I think not only do we have this positive plan today for the next 4 years, it's our action plan, if you will, but it's a stark contrast between the candidates.
Walker's campaign rolling out an ad touting this plan today. That goes along with a statewide ad from the state Republican Party attacking State Superintendent Tony Evers for how he handled a teacher dismissal case in Middleton. Evers is pushing back on that ad and Walker's plans today, but also introducing the state to the lieutenant governor he will now run with. Evers having breakfast this morning at Mickey's Dairy Bar with former state representative Mandela Barnes, who will now be on the ticket with Evers after his election last night in the primary. The two saying this is the longest they had met, but they were on the same page on the issues, including pushing back on Governor Walker's plans that he announced today.
What I make of it is he's had all sorts of promises that he hasn't kept for the last 8 years. In fact, he's spent most of his time breaking those promises. So whatever he's proposing right now pales as compared to what he has the destruction he's done for the people of Wisconsin thus far.
Evers also defended himself on that attack ad, saying he handled the situation with the Middleton teacher as required by state law. Both candidates have then been all over the state today. Evers in Madison, Appleton, his hometown of Plymouth, finishing tonight in Waukesha. Walker was in Onalaska, Eau Claire, Wausau, and Green Bay, also ending in Waukesha tonight. Both have agreed to a debate that was announced today as well, October 1st, hosted by the Wisconsin broadcasters. We will be televising that debate. I will actually be on the panel asking the questions to some of those gubernatorial candidates as well.
82 days to go.
82 days. We're going to cover a lot of ground. I think we're going to expect to hear a lot about education. I mean, you heard some of the new plans that the governor announced today, but with Tony Evers being the state superintendent, that's going to be an issue we hear about repeatedly. That attack ad that you see there, we're going to hear a lot more about that case, and we're going to look likely at that reality check for a reality check in the coming
They didn't wait
as well.
long for the attack ads.
Not at all. Announcing that last night.
All right, get ready,
82
Jess.
days.
Get ready, Jess.
Again.
All right, Jess, thank you.
Thanks, Jessica. The race for U.S. Senate, of course, getting some national attention today. The president weighing in, endorsing Republican Leah Vukmir in the race for U.S. Senate over her Democratic opponent, Senator Tammy Baldwin. President Trump tweeting this morning that Vukmir has his complete and total endorsement, says she would make a, quote, fantastic senator. Vukmir beat Kevin Nicholson at yesterday's primary election in Wisconsin, securing her spot as a Republican nominee on the November ballot. Vukmir ended the primary 49% of the vote to Nicholson's 43%. Marquette Law School poll director Charles Franklin says Vukmir won overwhelmingly in the Milwaukee area, but she lost most of the rest of the state, and getting those areas on board will be key in November.
For her to be competitive against Baldwin, she must have all those Republican voters that voted for Nicholson in the rest of the state come to her. And that may be where Donald Trump could provide some help for her.
Senator Baldwin tweeted her congratulations to Vukmir on her win last night. Today, she called on Vukmir to join her in 3 upcoming televised general election debates, 2 in Milwaukee, 1 in Wausau. Both Dane and Rock County election websites, if you didn't notice, crashed last night shortly after the polls closed.
Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says he isn't sure why it happened. In Rock County, reporter Adam Duxter spoke to the clerk there and joins us from our bureau in the Janesville Gazette with what caused their site to go down in the first place. Adam?
Well, it's the result of several contentious elections down here in Rock County. A sheriff's race, a clerk of courts race, and of course, the open seat in the 1st Congressional District. And last night, as the Rock County website began posting results, the sheer number of website visitors caused the site to crash. And today, the county clerk told me it wasn't just people in Rock County trying to see the results of the races.
We think, though, that because yesterday there were only 4 states with primaries, and there was a lot of focus on the elections in Wisconsin, we were getting calls from other states last night saying, why can't we get the results off your website? So it wasn't just local people looking, it was all over the country.
Tollefson told me that even in presidential elections, they've never had this kind of traffic before, and they were able to get around the website by being down by sending out PDFs with the election results. But the clerk told me today that they're already planning ahead towards November to make sure that during the next election, this does not happen again.
All right, Adam Duxter reporting live from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Thank you.
A local pastor is out of a job in the center of a criminal investigation in Fort Atkinson. Police there confirm Brian Angfer was arrested for embezzling funds at Trinity Lutheran Church. Angfer, seen here on the church's Facebook page was the senior pastor. The South Central Synod of Wisconsin confirms Engfer is no longer with the church. He is not currently in custody, but there is an active police investigation. Engfer did not immediately respond to our request for comment.
Students finished their first day of the new school year at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, the site of last February's deadly shooting rampage. Therapy dogs and counselors were brought in as classes began for more than 3,000 students. The school has made many security upgrades since February's deadly shooting, but some students still don't feel safe. The number of on-campus security personnel has doubled from 9 to 18. That includes 3 armed school resource officers. More security cameras have been installed, along with a single entry point system. Students and staff will be required to wear ID at all times. Upgrades have also been made to classroom doors so they lock automatically. The building where the shooting occurred, Building 12, has been blocked off with a 12-foot fence.
President Trump has taken action against one of his most outspoken critics. That would be former CIA Director John Brennan. Mola Lengi now with more from Washington.
The White House announced that President Trump is revoking former CIA Director John Brennan's security clearance.
Mr. Brennan has a history that calls into question his objectivity and credibility.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders cited Brennan's criticism of the Trump administration on social media as part of the president's decision. Brennan's most recent public criticism of the president was in response to President Trump's tweet about former White House aide Omarosa Manigault Newman, saying, "It's astounding how often you fail to live up to minimum standards of decency, civility, and probity." The president is also considering striking the security clearances for some of his other critics, including former FBI Director James Comey, former Obama National Security Advisor Susan Rice, and former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper.
The president has a constitutional responsibility to protect classified information and who has access to it.
Former Director James Clapper says the move is unprecedented.
Well, if they're saying that I can't, the only way I can speak is to be in an adulation mode of this president, I'm sorry, I don't think I can sign up for that.
High-level security clearances are commonly granted to senior government officials after they leave office. Those clearances are renewed every 5 years to allow former officials to advise their successors. Experts say revoking those privileges puts the public at risk.
We're not going to be able to get the requisite knowledge that that these individuals have in their heads.
Sanders says the security clearances for current and former intelligence officials are also under review. Mola Lengi, WISC News 3.
Meanwhile, closing arguments are underway in the federal trial of former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort. Prosecutors are telling the jury Manafort's defense attorneys violated several of the judge's orders in their closing arguments. The judge said he is likely to address those violations in his instructions to the jury.
Search teams in Italy are working around the clock, hoping to find more survivors after a giant highway bridge collapsed yesterday, killing at least 39 people. Crushed cars still hang from what's left of the bridge in Genoa, while crews pull more bodies out of tons of rubble and twisted steel. During a heavy rainstorm, the bridge suddenly plunged 150 feet down onto the riverbed, buildings, and city streets, taking dozens of vehicles and those inside with it. About 60,000 vehicles cross that bridge every day. The highway is a major connector between Italy and France and has been under constant repair. Local residents have been expressing their fears for years that the bridge would never survive an earthquake.
There's more to come at 4. Parents and students are getting ready to head back to school.
And allergists are warning families to prepare before going back to the classrooms. We'll find out why they're concerned when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. Children around the country are headed back to school, but allergists are reminding families to make sure they're prepared before students enter the classroom.
Kenneth Craig with more on what parents and kids need to know to stay safe.
Summer is winding down for the Shulman family. And with 2 children with food allergies, that means getting ready to go back to school now.
Before school starts, I always make sure to get in touch with my child's teacher, with the school nurse.
The American College of Asthma, Allergy, and Immunology says from kindergarten to college, being prepared is critical. And for elementary students, parents need to be an advocate for children.
Speaking to the teachers, the administration. Also, you can do small measures like having the child bring a placemat to eat their food on, discussing the importance of hand hygiene.
Allergist Dr. Alyssa Hirsch says middle and high school students need to learn to watch out for themselves.
The highest incidence of accidental exposures happen in those teenage years, and they can have worse outcomes because they don't always carry their EpiPens.
Children with allergies or asthma should have emergency action plans like these, as well as their EpiPen twin pack at school.
This is my go bag.
The Shulmans know how important it is to be ready. 8-year-old Oliver is allergic to sesame. 3-year-old Davis just had an anaphylactic reaction to nuts, for which their mom used the EpiPen and called 911.
Because we had this experience so recently, I also just regained like a sense of vigilance.
I read the labels all the time.
Oliver also makes sure his friends and teachers know about his allergies.
So if they don't know, I always tell them.
Because having everyone at school on the same page could be life-saving.
Kenneth Craig for WISC News 3.
Dr. Hirsch also recommends children with allergies and asthma wear medical alert bracelets with their name, age, and allergies listed in case of an emergency.
Can't be too careful.
That's right.
Well, the highest paying jobs in America this year can be found in the healthcare industry. That's according to a new study by the employment website Glassdoor. It analyzed data for job titles with at least 100 salary reports each. Physicians topped the list with more than $195,000 average salary a year. Pharmacy managers and pharmacists placed second and third, with enterprise architects and corporate counsels rounding out the top 5. I don't see TV anchorman there, Eric.
No.
Bottom 5.
Yeah.
Trade worries and new tariffs imposed by Turkey sent stocks lower. The Dow Industrials lost 137 points, closing at 25,162. The Nasdaq Composite Index fell 96. The S&P 500 was off 21.5. Well, a long-running Madison musical series on Wednesday nights is trying to mimic the success of concerts on the square.
The Jazz at 5 series has been going on for the last 25 years. And after running on volunteers, it now has its first staff member to expand its vibe.
Our morning show producer slash photojournalist, Melissa Belling, shares a preview of what you can expect from Jazz at 5.
Spread diversity and the word of jazz to downtown Madison.
You can look at the various different art groups and see if the arts group matches the diversity of Madison, and they normally don't. If you go to jazz, we're everything. I mean, it's a music that came from New Orleans. The players are all different ethnic groups. We have fusion, we have gypsy, we have New Orleans, we have bebop, we have Ladies Must Swing.
We encourage conversation at our tables, trying to make sure everyone has a good time, feels the jazz experience. And I'm the first event director for Jazz at 5. We've just been trying to get more younger kids involved in Jazz at 5, trying to show that it's not a bunch of old men. And it's open for picnicking on the Capitol grounds, too. We're trying to work on getting some more speakers set up so you can hear it out here.
We look at ourselves as trying to make downtown Madison a better place to be. We're like concerts. I mean, people that go to concerts aren't necessarily symphony fans. They're downtown Madison fans. They want to have a great time. They want to sit in the Capitol grounds. They want to enjoy their friends. We want to do all those things, only have a jazz cabaret as the background instead of a symphony.
In the end, it's more than just a concert, what we're trying to do. We're just trying to throw everyone a good time in this area.
Sounds great. The group you just heard was from Panchromatic Steel. Jazz at 5 series at the top of State Street every Wednesday night through September 5th. It actually starts at 4 o'clock. So
Kind of a nice event.
Yeah, it is.
Very cool. All right, still to come at 4, it is circus time, or at least circus school time.
I thought you were going to do your
circus time.
There you go. This month's top-notch teachers, plural, oversees a classroom that can turn into a real circus. Charlotte Gillespie has that for us coming up after Dave's first alert forecast. Take a look at this. A Purdue professor is now the holder of a world record. Chemical engineering professor Dr. Vilas Pohl set the record for the fastest time to arrange all elements of the periodic table. The record was never attempted before, and strict regulations in place. Guinness World Records gave Dr. Pohl 3 attempts to successfully complete the table, and since this was a new record attempt, Vilas was given a maximum of 10 minutes. It took him 3 attempts, but the third time was a charm. He finished it in 8 minutes, 36 seconds.
Dr. Vilas Pohl.
World record holder.
There he is. Quite
I
a party.
I remember that from high school. That was.
I don't. I can't remember. I can remember some of the elements.
Yeah.
The order of it. You're a scientist. You got it all remembered, right?
Yeah, sure. I know like the noble gases because I always thought it was so funny. Like.
They're very noble.
They're so noble. It's Wednesday, August 15th. It's National and Natural Relaxation Day. So just find any way to
relax.
Yes, just everybody calm down.
This won't help. It's National Failures Day, a day to examine past failures. The event most people point out is the ill-fated cruise ship, the Costa Concordia, which the captain managed to crash on the rocks in Italy. He was trying to show off to some friends on shore when the giant ship hit some rocks. Do not repeat your failures.
You won't believe what this ship can do. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And this is no failure. It is National Lemon Meringue Pie Day. Lemon has been a flavor for custards. There it is. Wow, that's pretty fancy.
That's a good one.
Looks nice.
That's beautiful. Is that from Hubbard?
I don't know. Nicole, where's it from?
We got a little, you know,
Pick and save.
Oh, pick and save. Okay.
No, we have hundreds of these Hubbard
I
things.
was like, from all the times they've
all the pie
visited
days.
us.
All the pie days.
So it wasn't until the 17th century that meringue was actually invented, and that was in the Swiss city of Merengen.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So we're digging in, right?
Are we going to dig in?
During weather.
I mean, yeah, maybe during weather.
We'll eat this
in a little
during
while.
weather.
It's kind of messy.
Looks
so,
good.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I like it when it gets a little bubbly on the top and when it gets warm.
Yeah, that's fancy.
All right, speaking of
Storms are bubbling
there
up
you
right
go.
now. Very good. Very nice transition. We'll talk about that, plus the threat of some additional showers and thunderstorms over the next couple of days, and your first alert forecast in just a few minutes. Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great Wednesday. I'm having a great Wednesday. I think that's what I meant to say there. Doppler track is showing some showers and thunderstorms continuing to fall across portions of southern Wisconsin. We've had these showers with us since the very early afternoon, and also some thunderstorms, some thunder and lightning and downpours falling as well. We've gotten reports, especially closer to southwestern Wisconsin, just since noon of about 2 to 3 inches locally falling in some spots. So when these storms are kicking, they're kicking good, as they say, really dropping a lot of rain in a short amount of time on some areas. Others really just getting a few raindrops. It's the nature of a scattered shower setup. So future Doppler track showing these showers still kind of hanging around for some of us, so we're going to need the umbrella into later this evening. Check out this photo from New Glarus. Mark sends this in of a funnel cloud in the sky. So what's the difference between a funnel cloud and a tornado? Good question. Tornado needs to either touch the ground or have some debris with it, and that's when things start to get a little bit messy. These things can cause some damage, but right now in this picture, just some funnels could be forming in a setup like this. When we get so much humidity in the air, and cold fronts like to cause those little spin-ups that really don't last all that long. So that didn't hit the ground, but thank you so much for sending this in. If that funnel does hit the ground, you'll know about it. That's what we call a tornado warning. August precipitation, we're up to about 1.7 inches of rain, with the rain falling earlier today at the Madison airport. Still about 1/4 of an inch behind schedule, but I think especially if these downpours keep falling, we'll erase that pretty quickly. So as far as August rain goes, last year we were a little bit below average. 2016 well above average, basically double what we were supposed to get. And then really the last 6 years, 4 out of the last 6 years have been below average. So we'll see if we continue that streak or if we actually do get a little bit more rain over the second half of August. Pretty crazy that I had to think about saying it is technically getting to the second half of August. Live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam showing some rain showers off in the distance, but maybe even some peaks of sun. Downtown Madison looking a little bit more ominous, a little bit more gloomy on the Edgewater Skycam. The almanac for today, high of 83. That's a little bit above normal for this time of year, and that's where temperatures will stay, just a little bit above normal for the next 4 to 5 days or so. High temperatures, 83 in Madison, 88 in Janesville. Look at this, 92 in La Crosse, really depending on whether or not we have seen rain so far. 78 right now in Madison, 84 in Janesville, 77 in Watertown. Still pretty humid out there with dew points in the 70s, and that means there's not enough AC. The good news is, with temperatures going down a little bit because of this rain, it doesn't feel quite as oppressive outside, but still doesn't feel great by any means. As I mentioned, we will get into the 70s by the time we get into the start of next work week, and then gradually warming back up into the 80s by the middle of next week. Future track showing really cold fronts and low pressure systems aplenty for us over the next couple of days. They get close enough to possibly spark some afternoon and evening showers for this evening and into Friday, or Thursday and Friday as well, for some of us at least. Mild patchy fog tonight with showers and thunderstorms coming in for this evening, mainly for tomorrow. Humid, and we do basically the entire setup one more time, and that's what we're going to see on future track. Temperatures falling through the 70s into the 60s. A couple more showers and thunderstorms could visit us on Thursday, and we'll take rain chances down just a little bit on Friday, but I wouldn't put the umbrella away just yet because we do have slight rain chances in the forecast for Friday. But much of the weekend is looking nice with temperatures in the mid-80s. Then some more rain showers come our way Monday, and for the first part of Tuesday, for another dry stretch hits us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week.
Could use some rain.
Yeah, we could, and we're getting it at the right time where we have the nice weekend set up and then get the rain out of the way during the week when we could use it.
Timing is everything.
It really is.
Thanks, Dave.
And your time's
And I'm
up.
out of time.
Your time's up. Thanks, Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, step right up. We're heading to Mazomanie for the greatest show on earth.
That's right. Well, not exactly, but there is a place that teaches students how to be circus performers. Charlotte DeLeste introduces us to this month's top-notch teachers.
There's something about the circus that draws people.
Why circus? Because it is irresistible. It speaks to the senses. It is the substance of dreams.
Marcia Mickelon and Jacob Mills are awakening the senses of their students at Wild Rumpus Circus and Mazo Movement Arts Center in Mazomanie.
I don't know of another program that is as comprehensive as our program is.
I feel like circus can be for everyone, no matter what your body type, no matter what your skill set.
Since 2002, these two ringmasters have been offering classes and workshops that mirror what adults studying theater would learn, with the highlight being circus skills.
We usually start our days with tight wire walking practice and juggling practice and object manipulation of all kinds.
The advanced students get into more physical skills like rope and harness, aerial trapeze, aerial silks, and the highlight for many, the German wheel. But just as exciting and challenging is finding your stilt legs.
Stilt walking is a huge part of our program. I would say I've taught safely probably 1,000 people over 17 years.
Stand up straight. Let's not forget the emotion. After all, the circus is about entertaining, and the key to bringing out the expressiveness in these budding performers is to simply hide.
Many times a child that is sort of shy or doesn't apply themselves just because they're uncertain of their abilities Again, the mask makes it possible for them to be inside of this thing and nobody knows who they are, and they're not afraid to express themselves that way. That's all we want people to try to do here at camp is just try. You might surprise yourself.
What's not surprising is the joy and satisfaction both Marcia and Jacob get from helping their students be a part of the greatest show on earth.
I love what I do. I'm very lucky to get to do what I do. You couldn't do this if you weren't having fun, absolutely.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else, for one thing. We feel just so lucky that we get to work with kids in this way. Of course, I feel proud and I feel choked up.
Circus always has a special place in
What
Wisconsin,
fun.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Ringling Brothers Circus.
Talented kids, talented teachers. Now, if you'd like to nominate a top-notch teacher, visit the education tab. That's on our website, channel3000.com.
A little different, top-notch teacher.
That was something.
It's fun. All right, coming up next, it's a brave new world out there.
One that may operate on its own without any human intervention.
Researchers have developed robots that can operate on their own with no power source. I'm Chris Martinez with how these plastic machines could be used inside the human body.
Taking a look from the Edgewater Sky Cam, the tower cam on this Wednesday afternoon. Some clouds out there, but not a bad day.
No, not bad at all.
Researchers in California are developing a series of robots that can function on their own without any source of power.
Chris Martinez explains how plastic machines work.
Inside these 3D printed devices, there are no batteries, no motors, no power source at all. But once in the water, they seem to come alive, making short bursts of movement on their own.
It's basically all plastics and it's all soft.
Developer Osama Bilal says it's the plastic material itself that makes the robots move. The first of their kind machines respond to changes in temperature. When a cold robot meets warm water, the material changes shape, allowing the machines to make small movements.
In the study that we have right now, we can make the robot move forward, turn right or left, deliver something, and then come back.
Those movements for now are limited, but researchers foresee the soft robots fulfilling important roles in the future, from exploring oceans to fighting ailments inside the human body.
You can think of scaling this down to centimeter sizes.
Chiara Duraio believes the biodegradable devices could be designed to safely exist in the body, to carry and release medication at precise moments.
You can design to interact with the pH of the human body and respond to specific cues like presence of certain proteins or temperature.
Researchers say uses like that are still likely years away, but they believe these robots will get there, one small paddle at a time. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Pasadena, California.
I don't get the 3D printing.
No.
I don't understand.
Don't know how it works.
I don't either. Right now, researchers have programmed one of the robots to deliver a payload and return, all without the use of any power source.
Amazing
It is
technology.
amazing.
And still to come at 4, do you think the growing season is winding down?
Think again. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here, and she says fall is the perfect time to grow certain veggies. We'll find out what they are. Live at 4 continues.
Good afternoon. Here is your first alert traffic update, taking a live look at Todd Drive and the Beltline. A little bit of slow go in both directions. Right now, at this part of the Beltline, we're starting to see those slowdowns as you might expect for this time of day on the Beltline, but no major accidents or incidents to report across Dane County. In that stretch, we're looking at speeds of about 15 to 30 miles per hour, so just be prepared to spend a couple of extra minutes there. Verona Road to John Nolan eastbound, that's 14 minutes. That's pretty slow. Average speed of around 20 miles per hour, and 6 minutes eastbound John Nolan to the interstate. Average speed of around 45 miles per hour. And that is your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. When celebrating an occasion as momentous as a 101st birthday, where does one go? Well, to Taco Bell, of course. At least that was the birthday venue of choice for Ruth Parker of Illinois. She has been coming to this Taco Bell in Carbondale, that's down by St. Louis, for 18 years, and the employees cannot get enough of her. They're already looking forward to birthday number 102.
She looks great.
Next year. It's all that T-Bell
101? Yeah, good.
Those soft tacos and the chili cheese burritos.
Okay.
It's good stuff.
Congratulations. Well, autumn is right around the corner. You're probably not thinking of planting vegetables.
No, but there are some veggies that actually thrive in these cooler temperatures. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here with some cool veggies. You got some good stuff here.
I do. So either you wanted to plant veg this spring and you didn't, or you planted it and you let it get all weedy and you didn't get any vegetables. But there are things that you can plant now.
It's not too late.
It is not too late. When you look at a seed packet, what you want to look for is usually down near the bottom that'll tell you days to maturity. This particular one is 60. And so you figure backwards from our first frost date. We're always really concerned about the last frost date in the spring. The average here is around October 10th. So you can go back and count.
So you got
yes. So this time of year, you can still put in like small root veg, like small carrots, or radishes, or spring onions. There's always lots of time too to do things like peas and
from seed too.
From seed.
That's hard to believe.
But peas are fast and they like cool weather, so you can certainly do lots of leafy greens. I know kale's a particular favorite of yours.
I love kale. I love kale.
Yes. Can't get enough. The other thing that I love to do, and you don't want to plant this till after the frost, this is garlic. So the fun thing about garlic in the fall is that you can get all kinds of really good varieties. And what you do is you take it apart, clove by clove, and you plant them about 6 inches deep and about 6 inches apart. Cover it with some straw, and then you will harvest it next summer. And for every clove, you'll get a head.
Really?
Yes, this is one of the most satisfying crops. You don't have to do anything.
Can you use garlic from the grocery store?
You can.
Really?
You can, and you're going to get just whatever German white garlic they have. But if you come to the garden center, there are all kinds of varieties, some that are great for baking, some that are really good to eat fresh, so you can have music garlic or some of the Polish garlics or the Russian garlics, which are really tasty.
Somebody gave me a garlic that they grew, and it was this big.
Yes.
I didn't believe them.
Yeah, I love to grow garlic. It's one of my favorite things.
But if you're doing these veggies, you got to get to work here pretty quick, right?
Yes, if you want like onions or carrots or something like that, you want to get them in this weekend, or sometime next weekend. Leafy greens, you have a little bit more time. As long as you get that stuff in by the first part of September, you're good to go.
You could just grow it in a pot too.
This is Swiss chard, which is always really pretty. We sell this as an ornamental in the fall because it looks so nice with the stems in a pot, but it's edible. And there's time to plant Swiss chard as well for eating.
Swiss chard. I've
Swiss
never
chard.
had that. Or at least I've tried it.
It's a close cousin to kale.
Another one of Mark's favorites.
Try
it. You just eat it like that, or you cook it?
You can eat it raw in a salad, or you can cook it.
It actually isn't bad. I mean, it's like
not
lettuce.
as kale-y as kale, is it?
No, that looks like parsley or something to decorate a plate.
And what about the summer vegetables that are coming to an end here? What do you,
as long as we have a lot of heat, you're going to still continue to get ripening on tomatoes and peppers. So let that stuff, we've got plenty of time. Let that stuff go. If you've got potatoes, it's probably close to time to get the potatoes out of the ground. And beans are, unless you've got pole beans that are dry varieties, those are probably done.
It's been a pretty good summer for
It has been,
for
yeah.
vegetable gardens.
So keep your peppers and your tomatoes weeded because there's plenty of time to get a lot of fruit left on those.
All that heat and humidity, perfect.
I know, they love that.
Tropical plants. All right, well, I guess we'll go planting, of all things.
Mark, here you go.
I'm going to take this.
Kale.
You can have the chart.
And I'm going to plant some cloves.
Lisa, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good advice. We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Sprinkles here at the station, but some folks are getting a good soak.
Oh yeah, especially over the last couple of hours, about 2 to 3 inches of rain falling in some spots. Just depends on whether or not you've been visited by a downpour or not. It does look like this activity is winding down generally, but at least keep that umbrella with you over the next 2 to 3 hours. I do think those showers and thunderstorms will wrap up. Pretty similar day tomorrow compared to today. Maybe starting off with some fog, then some showers and thunderstorms bubbling up in the afternoon and evening. We'll need the umbrella tomorrow and on Friday, but the weekend, at least right now, is looking warm but dry with plenty of sunshine. Temperatures in the mid-80s.
And still humid.
Still a little bit humid. It does get a little bit better this weekend, but it will be back next week.
Oh, great.
Again.
Thank you, Dave. Tomorrow here on Live at 4, we'll find out what's happening in the 608 this weekend.
And we'll have a live report from Lambeau Field as the Packers get ready to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. NFL preseason football tomorrow on the next Live at 4.